The Vipava Valley. Its image is quickly memorized. In the east stands the mighty Nanos mountain chain, extending to the slopes of Tarnovsky Gozd. On the southern edge, there is the Karst Plateau, and in between, a valley which runs from Rebanitsa at the foot of Mount Nanos in the east to the Friuli Plains in the west, along the border with Italy. The architecture in this area is very typical of the coastal region. The settlements are clustered at the very edge of the plains, spreading along the slopes or residing on top of the hills. The buildings are usually made of the material that was to hand, of stone. The roofs are covered by typical stone tiles, called kortsi. They are not there as mere decoration. They are used to protect against the strong northeasterly wind, which reaches speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour, which can easily carry off the roof or anything that's not properly attached. Even the streets in the clustering villages are narrow, so as to reduce its power as much as possible. The houses are usually open towards the southwest and closed towards the northeast, to protect against the cold Bora wind, and to accumulate as much sunshine as possible. The people in the Vipava Valley are used to the Bora wind. They regard it as their own. They say that it sharpens the mind and strengthens the soul. On the other hand, there is the generous influence of the warm south from the Adriatic Sea, which is most obvious from the plant life. This makes even the cherry trees blossom and ripen much earlier. The combination of the harsh north and the easiness of the south is perfect for winemaking, which has always been a way of life and a tradition here. Its origins reach back to Roman times. Since then, the vine has successfully made its way across the valley. It's not surprising, therefore, that part of the coat of arms of the municipality of Vipava is a stylized vine. A remarkable and important role in developing winemaking was played by Matija Vertovec, the parish priest from a village at the foot of Mount Nanos. In 1844, he published the first book in Slovene on winemaking, entitled Wine Cultivation, containing knowledge, advice, and recommendations. It's as if his voice was still heard today among young and motivated winemakers. They are determined to follow modern trends, and are therefore keeping abreast of new developments and constantly acquiring new knowledge, while at the same time respecting the experience of their forebears. The combination of a modern approach and tradition is the right way to produce the best wines. These have to maintain a local character to include the typical features of the Vipava Valley, so everyone knows where they come from. For a winemaker, the vintage is the most important moment, the most demanding and at the same time the most fun. It's not difficult to get grape pickers, but the master has to demand strict and consistent work. Whatever the Bora has sharpened, whatever the sun has given, has to remain in the wine. More about the specific features of different wines from the Vipava Valley can be learned in numerous wine cellars. During the traditional Tastes of Vipava festival, held at the end of May at Zemano Manor House, all the major wine growers in the Vipava Valley get together to present their best wines. Good food is another thing that's indispensable with wine. Ethnologists are full of praise for Vipava Jota, Vipava dumplings, Vipava dried ham, Nanos cheese. The best wines from Vipava are Zelen, Pinela and Klanitsa, because they're local. They are the pride of the people of Vipava. In 2003, the Zelen Consortium was founded, with the aim of restoring this sometimes mysterious wine to its former prestige and fame, along with a specially designed wine bottle, which is a distinguishing feature only of those Zelen wines which meet the consortium's criteria. The consortium applied the same approach to the Pinela wine, which boasts a long tradition. The Pinela prefers high-lying and marlite locations. Good wines are best served in wine cellars. Generations ago, these cellars were cut into solid rock. Next to an old cellar today, you are likely to find a new one with state-of-the-art stainless steel equipment. The largest among the wine cellars in Vipava is one which continues the tradition of the first wine producers cooperative in Slovenia, which opened in 1894. Take your time. An hour will hardly be enough for a visit and wine tasting. Your tour should also take in the village of Goce. Note the belfry, reminiscent of the one in St. Mark's Basilica in Venice. Altogether, there are 60 vaulted wine cellars in Goce. The keyholder can also be the owner's dog, while the neighbor's dog is attracted to the cellars out of curiosity. The doors to the wine cellars are always wide open to friends and guests, especially on occasions when they're seeking refuge there from the notorious Bora wind or burning sunshine. And there's little reason to remain bored there. Not far from Goce is the village of Slap. This is where, between 1873 and 1886, the first Slovene wine and fruit growing school was organized in the local castle, with Slovene as the language of instruction. Also thanks to Count Carl Lantieri, who donated this castle and estate to the land of Carniola. Among the reminders of the Lantieri family is their hunting manor in Zemeno, where interesting frescoes can be seen in the corner rooms on the ground floor. Whenever there was a hunt for game, they used to eat it in this room. Poultry was eaten in another room, and so on. How about that? Not far from Zemeno lies the town of Vipava, which, like its name, dates back to Celtic times. In Celtic, the word Vip means valley. The source of the Vipava River, which rises at the foot of Nanos, is in the shape of a delta, which is quite rare. Due to the numerous bridges and canals, Vipava is also called the Slovene Venice. Summer evenings host cultural events under the common name of Imago Slovenia, the source of water and voice of the heart, in the town itself and in its vicinity. Vipava is an attractive place with a soul of its own. It's characterized by its well-preserved Baroque Lantieri castle, with statues of boys depicting work and life in past centuries. It's easy to spark off a conversation with local people in the park about current times, while in Vipava Cemetery there are 2 sarcophaguses some 4,500 years old. They were brought there from Egypt by the Austrian diplomat Larin, who also came from Vipava. Close to Vipava is the village of Verkpolje, where in September 394 a battle took place between two Roman emperors, the converted Theodosius and the pagan Eugenius. A memorial above Verkpolje records this significant event. It's said that the Bora wind played a decisive role. Even the town of Ajdovština, now the center of the valley, has been shaped by the Romans. The Hubel River rising nearby was once dubbed Fluvius Frigidus, the Cold River, while the fortress next to it was called Castrum. Today, Ajdovština features one of the better preserved Roman walls in Europe. In the very center, there is a museum dedicated to the Castrum and fossils of Slovenia, as well as a gallery with paintings and graphic prints by local artist Veno Pilon. In the summer, many seek shade in the shelter of the Trnovski Gozd area. The road from Ajdovština up towards Predmeja is really picturesque. At the edge of the Trnovski Gozd plateau at Predmeja, a true paradise for botanists can be found, a protected area of versatile flora in unspoiled nature. Not far away, at the edge of the Gora Plateau, one can come across the famous Otliška Okno rock formation. It offers a spectacular view of the valley, even of the village of Vipavski Križ, the former judicial, administrative and cultural center of the valley, with a well-protected Capuchin monastery containing a precious old library. This is where the famous preacher Janez Svetokriški used to live. He also used to mention the Vipava wines from the pulpit, and at the same time made people aware of exercising moderation in wine cellars. The vaulted cellars made of stone in the Vipava Valley area are a place for cultivating and preserving wine, but also a place for meeting and contemplation, as well as singing. This is what the singing tradition calls home. Even the Slovene national anthem, the Zdravica, is linked to these places. In 1843, Matija Vertovec published an article in Bleiweissovo Novice newspaper praising the vine, and there is justified reason to believe that he thus inspired France Prešeren to write the Zdravica, which was set to music by Stanko Premrl, born in Podnanos. This film is part of the international Land of Art and Wine project. It links the noble character of the Vipava and the Goriška Brda wines, as well as the artistry of Idrija lace on the Slovene side, with the handicrafts of Venice on the Italian side. The project goes beyond international borders. But then again, the Vipava Valley has always stood on a crossroads and has been open to east and west, due to its location and because of the Bora wind. It has been opulently rewarded with plenty of sunshine, and this is reflected in each grape, each drop of wine, every moment of life, every corner of the region, filled with beauty. Therefore, dear friends, you are kindly invited to see for yourself. You're always welcome in the Vipava Valley, among its good-hearted people.